The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are presented by Belly Up Sports in association with Gozilla Media. My name is Ryan McCarthy. I'm one of the co-hosts, and to my right is a man who claims that he has filled out the perfect bracket, including the playing games for tonight and for tomorrow night. We got Dustin Henry. Dustin, what's going on, sir?
Oh, I've got it all figured out. No one else needs to enter. My bracket is the perfect one. Actually, I haven't filled out a bracket. I haven't decided. I haven't decided if I'm going to. I used to run one back in the day, but I got out of it a few years ago. Just didn't run it. I think it was 2020 that kind of put the nail in the coffin for the bracket for me. And I haven't gotten in, so maybe I'll get in. But I understand that you, sir, have a bracket which we will be breaking down later in the show.
AJ Billis, get ready, sir.
Oh man, Billis, you got called out. We know you're a fan. We know you're watching.
Yes.
Get your pointers here before you repeat them on the 4-letter network. And we're gonna jump into the show. And before we start that, how are you tonight, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. We're I'm getting ready for March Madness, which I haven't partaken in the bracket. I used to do it religiously. I did it last year, even though I haven't really paid attention to college basketball as much as I used to. Because the really last time I really paid attention to college basketball was probably the year Arizona won it with Damon Stoudemire and that team. That team was. I remember they beat Duke. That's all that matters. Is anybody who beats Duke, you're my favorite team. So
Mighty Mouse himself, Damon Stoudemire.
But I'm pretty excited. I think I picked a good bracket. How's your day been so far?
Yeah, it's been all right. A little busy at the day job, working a little overtime. Got to work out after this, trying to shed some pounds here in 2024, trying to slim down a little bit again. But excited to talk sports with you. We got a lot to cover tonight on the show. But I do have to admit, unfortunately, I'm not as jovial as I usually would be because I have to apologize to someone tonight.
Well, we're gonna get to that in just a moment, but I just want to make sure everybody we take care of some business ends first. First thing I want to let you know is about our social media channels: Twitter, Instagram, and the occasionally use TikTok for however long we have it. It's at NoCredsREQ, Facebook.com/NoCredsREQ, YouTube.com/@NoCredsREQ. If you're watching on any of these platforms, because we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter right now. Replay tomorrow on Rumble.com, and starting tomorrow at Wednesday, 8 a.m. Eastern, we're going to be on internet radio on the American Angel Radio Network. So check us out Wednesday at 8 a.m. This show will be broadcast on that particular station. But in the meantime, please go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe to all of our social media platforms right down here below. On the podcast side, subscribe to the podcast on whichever podcast platform you are on, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Good Pods, iHeart, Pandora, TuneIn, wherever you podcast. Rate and review. A 5-star rating would be awesome. If you're on a platform where you can review, please leave us a review. We might even read it on the air. And because we're a live show on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern and some Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, good comments rolling in already. Against the show. We want your comments, and I gotta play that magical sound.
Lay it on
everyone
me.
to hear. Let's go. Let's go. Yes, engage with the show. We want your comments. We got comments already rolling in. My buddy Rich saying, "Evening lads," sapped them with the obligatory sports ball comment. And Dr. Lady Esquire saying, "Hello there." Actually, got to announce this too. I got some live baseball alternative play-by-play coming on the pike for y'all.
Ooh,
So
all right.
Sunday afternoon affairs coming this summer, or this spring, starting in April. And also the Playmaker saying, "Yo, no credentials required." Yo to you too, sir.
What's
Yo
going
to you
on?
too. So before we get into anything tonight, to our regular show, Dustin, I'm going to give the floor to you. I understand you have an apology for a certain NBA player. And no, it's not LeBron James. It's not LeBron
It is not.
James.
It is not. I have defended LeBron James. Surprisingly, on these airwaves, I have defended LeBron James for like a few weeks. A few weeks. And I know that we usually don't talk NBA a lot on this show, but every once in a while we dive into it. And for those of you who are longtime listeners of the show, or at least have been here since my tenure with the show, and also if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you may be familiar. There was a time last year where Ryan said to me, he goes, "What do you think your Mavs are doing? How do you think it's going?" And I let them have it because at the time they were. It was obvious they were trying to tank, and they didn't do too good of a job of it. Luka Doncic looked unhappy out there, and I laid a lot of the blame at one Kyrie Irving, aka Uncle Drew, and I said he was taking the fun out of the game of basketball for Luka. And I said also that Kyrie was going to leave and that the Mavs had basically traded for him for what amounted to a rental. Well, fast forward a few, probably almost exactly a calendar year to the day, if I had to guess. It was either April that I went on this rant, or it was this time last year. I can't remember. But it's a shameless plug for our YouTube channel. Go back and check it out, because a certain editor that is sitting right next to me virtually, he made a fantastic edit with that particular video. So go check it out if you want to see me draw parallels to 90s wrestling, which is often our want to do on this show.
Absolutely.
But I have to say, and let me look into my camera as I do this. I'm going to give myself the one. Kyrie, I'm sorry. I don't subscribe to your flat earth theories, but I'm sorry. You, first off, have proven me wrong because you stayed with the Mavericks. You're still on the Mavs as of now. And I watched the tail end. I was doing some work around the house. I was cooking, I was doing things. And then I said, wait, football's not on anymore, obviously. Let me flip on ABC, because a lot of times they play NBA doubleheaders this time of year. The NBA kind of takes over because baseball hasn't started yet and football is over, although we got the UFL coming, so I'm excited about that. But
sorry, go ahead.
And yes, I am diverting, but I have to say it again. Sorry, Kyrie, because that one-handed, left-handed floater that you hit to beat the Denver Nuggets at the end of the game with time expiring was a thing of beauty. And Luka was very happy. You seem like, now I haven't watched as many Mavs games as I would like this season, but it seems like they're playing well together. They figured it out. Jason Kidd's got some kind of rotation going. And I just have to say, I'm sorry. You're still Uncle Drew. You still got the moves. You still, you're going to do some things that I don't agree with necessarily. But I have to retract my comments about you stealing Luka's smile. I'm sorry. That's all I have to say.
I'm just going to sing this lyric from Chicago. Hold me now. It's hard for me to say I'm sorry. Do 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 do.
Oh, you can't make it too accurate. That's too close now. We're gonna get a strike. We're gonna Chicago's coming after us.
I am not Pierce Cetera. Okay, all right. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, I'm not. It's not the theme from Karate Kid 2, which is one of my favorite '80s movie themes ever. All right, I remember watching Karate Kid 2 in the theater. That's how old I am. Those are the days. Playmaker wanted to add a comment. He said, "Your Mavs went and got some sizes."
They did.
I presume he means big, tall guys and says they out rebounded the champs. So
yes, they did. Yes, they did. Although I will say, I was watching the end of that game, and the Nuggets are still going to be a problem because Luka tried to play defense on Jokic, and Jokic just backed him down like he was nothing. And so I'm like, oh, this is going to be a problem.
Oh boy,
Jokic is still a beast, and also there was a player on the I think it was Jamal Murray. He made a beautiful three, but he shot it too early at the end of that game. He left the Mavs a little bit of time, and then Luka at the time, I'm thinking this is a boneheaded three because he just launched it up. Go back and watch the end of this game. It was entertaining. He launched it up from an obscene distance and drained it. I was like, couldn't have gone with a better shot selection there, but it worked out. And then Kyrie won the game. So I have to apologize to him again, but you are right. You are right, sir. They definitely went out and got some size. So we're going to see what happens.
Playmaker
stretch run.
Playmaker knows his ball. Maybe we have to get him on here for an NBA playoff preview because we don't really cover NBA on here unless there's the exceptions like Dustin's apology to Kyrie Irving. So what we're going to do next, we're going to get into NFL free agency. We're going to do some grading tonight. We're going to do some grading.
Ooh.
But first, here is the Loch Ness Monster NFL free agency tracker. Dustin's new favorite element.
I need about 350.
It gets me every time. The list. I'll never not laugh at the list.
No, you can't not laugh at the list. Come on. I'm going to have to break it out for Playmaker someday because he doesn't know about the list.
Oh yeah. We're gonna have to break.
He's a wrestling fan too, so he would be all right with it. But we're going to talk about NFL free agency. We had some more notable signings during the weekend. The last time we met, we talked about the free agency on Saturday during the Saturday brunch. So after this show, go ahead and check it out. But Chase Young signs a 1-year contract with the New Orleans Saints, and he's going to bolster their pass rush. So that's an interesting signing. But let's talk about I wouldn't say a major signing today, but a notable signing, and it's a story behind it. So on social media, there's an account. Actually, he's one of my favorite follows for Jets Twitter. His name is he's New York Matt. New York Jets Matt, and what he did, and the Jets were rumored to go after Mike Williams, formerly of the Los Angeles Chargers. I almost said San Diego Chargers. Los Angeles Chargers. Go back to San Diego. The Chargers, and he's a free agent. He's wanted by a couple of teams. Some teams are trying to kick tires on him. But NYJ Matt decided to try to ante things up. And this is what Jets Twitter is. We're something else. We're something else. Some guys will send gifts. Some guys will be in bushes near Florham Park, near the office of Florham Park. What Matt decided to do was do something really unique. And what he did was that he sent from a local restaurant in Morristown, New Jersey, sent it over to Florham Park. He sent a Taylor ham, egg, and cheese sandwich scheduled for this morning to go to the Jets facility for Mike Williams, to court Mike Williams. Guess who signed with the Jets this afternoon? Mike Williams. And guess who ate said sandwich after he signed the contract? Mike Williams.
And I will say, I saw the picture. He took a bite. This wasn't a prop bite. He was eating it. He was eating
legit. He was legitimately eating that sandwich, and he's like, "Yeah, let's make a deal. Let's do this. Let's do this." Let's just say this. Let me just say this. In this household, we call it Taylor ham.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're lucky.
So, Jersey G, if you're watching, in this house, it's Taylor ham, not Taylor pork roll. I know about the brand.
Ooh, she's going to let you have it.
She is. She will let me have it. I don't care, though. In this house, we call it Taylor ham. So from here on out, for the 2024 season, on game day, the official food of Victory Monday on No Credentials Acquired will be Taylor ham and egg sandos.
There you go. There you go. And a nice little tease, by the way, indicating that show is returning. I tune in a couple times. to watch it, but I have to admit, sometimes I'll tune in after a Jets loss because some of the reactions on there, they're just, it's great entertainment either way.
I'm hoping and praying we'll have a lot more happier times in 2024 than last season. But we're going to do something tonight. We're going to actually go over our teams, free agents, our respective favorite teams, free agency signings. We're going to grade our teams. And Dustin, I'm going to hand it off to you first. I talked about Mike Williams signing with the Jets. I'll talk about that a little bit more in just a moment. But I want to get we talked about our teams last week, about some of the notable releases, some of the notable signings. But this weekend, there's a big trade involving the Seahawks. So I want you to go over some of the free agency signings for the Seahawks, and I'll have you grade don't talk about my Jets, and we'll grade our teams respectfully. So go ahead and talk about your Seahawks for.
All right. Well, as you said, there's a couple notable departures, which we've talked about on previous shows. I'm not going to get into them here, but the Seahawks are shedding cap room. They're shedding cap room. And they also let Drew Lock, who apparently John Schneider said they were interested in re-signing, but Drew Lock is now a New York Giant. And so we'll start at the quarterback position. The notable quarterback that they brought in to back up, all reports are that he will back up Geno Smith. Apparently, Mike McDonald came out and said, Geno's the guy. So you can feel your feelings however you want about that. Seahawks fans are extremely divided on that. But they brought in former Washington Commanders starter Sam Howell, which...
No, hold on. You didn't say it right. Sam Howell. That's how you say it.
All right. I'll let you fill in the blanks each time. So they brought in Mr. Howell, and I have mixed feelings about it. Okay. I always said that I liked Sam Howell when he was the Commanders starter. I said, you know what? He shows he has some moments. And I like his heart. Seems like he has a lot of heart. But I feel a little differently now that he is potentially, if he somehow beats out Geno in camp, or if Geno goes down, he is the starter. He went on a stretch last year where he really kind of threw way too many interceptions, but then he kind of righted the ship too. It was kind of a tale of two Sam Howells, and I think he's young enough and he's shown flashes that perhaps the Seahawks, if they can kind of coach some of the interceptions and the turnovers out of him, maybe they got themselves a steal here. We won't know. But that's my preliminary feeling about Sam Howell. The big disappointment, and if you tuned into Saturday's show, some of this is going to be repeat, but it's safe to say that I felt a little different than our guest Staniel did, and I think Kevin agreed with me. I didn't get a chance to really ask him, but I was very disappointed they let Bobby Wagner go and they didn't make more of an effort to re-sign him. Apparently, Bobby was targeting the Commanders because Dan Quinn was there and because of the D coordinator there as well. It's going to be Dan Quinn, but they also have a coordinator there because Quinn is the head coach. Bobby said that Dan Quinn was one of the best coaches he played for, so he kind of wanted to reunite with Dan Quinn, but I think Seattle could have done a better job of trying to hang on to Bobby Wagner and have somebody to mentor some of the younger players. But I get it. They're trying to overhaul the team. With that being said, I do like the signing. They signed let's see, I got to get his name. They signed Jerome Baker from the Miami Dolphins, which I do believe that Staniel said on Saturday's show he's still out there. And then shortly after that, they signed him. They signed him Saturday, I believe. Saturday night news broke, or maybe it was Sunday morning. I can't remember. I do like that signing. It was a position of need. He is a little undersized. I have to do a little bit more research because I didn't see a lot of his snaps with the Miami Dolphins. I do love the signing of the other linebacker that they got from Buffalo. They brought in from Buffalo. He grades Tyrell Dodson. He grades very highly. He was Pro Football PFL's highly graded player at the position. I think his grade was a 92. We know that Buffalo's defense was good the past few years. Leslie Frazier is in Seattle as an associate head coach. So I do like this signing. I like the Farrell Brown. I don't have too much of a thought on. They brought him in for tight end depth after letting Will Dissly and another tight end go, who is escaping me at the moment. But they did re-sign Noah Fant as well. I like that move. I think it's okay. Again, they needed some depth at the position after Dissly and another departure. But the big move that they did is they re-signed Leonard Williams to a 3-year deal. They needed to extend him. They traded for him last year from the New York Giants. And I think he's going to help generate a pass rush as he gets more familiar with the scheme there. And they also brought in George Fant. So they're trying to address the offensive line, which what that says about Lucas's knees, I think they're bringing in George Fant for some depth because they can kind of move him around to different positions. They know George Fant. This is the team that he started his career with. So I think that's a good depth signing. And then lastly, they brought in 2 more positions along the offensive line. Center Nick Harris from the Cleveland Browns. I don't know much about Nick Harris. I'll have to watch more of his tape, but he is a former Husky, and so he will be reunited with his college offensive line coach, I believe, and also Ryan Grubb, former UW coach, is now the Seahawks offensive coordinator. So I'm hoping that they can get some good play out of Nick Harris. And lastly, they brought somebody in an intra-divisional signing. They brought a former player from the Rams, a guard, Tremaine Akram Jr. Now, primarily for the Rams, he was a backup from what I've seen. He started last year. He had 2 starts last year, and one of them he got hurt almost immediately. But he has come out and said Seattle told him there would be a chance for him to compete on the line for a starting position. So I am glad that they are trying to address the offensive line. It's something that I don't really think they did well during Pete Carroll's tenure, with the exception of the 2022 draft. But we'll have to see how it shakes out. But overall, I don't think they made any big splashes. There were some notable departures. They basically swapped linebackers with the Miami Dolphins because they let Jordan Brooks go in free agency, and then they brought in Baker. So we'll have to see how that shakes out. But those are my rambling thoughts on the Seahawks free agent signings.
Now, I said that we would get to the grades at the end, but I I might as well ask now.
Okay.
We kind of went over things. What would you give your grade for the Seattle Seahawks in free agency?
So
Thus far.
I would give them a B minus.
Ooh, interesting.
Trending slightly towards I mean, because there's too many unknowns. Like Tremaine, we don't really know. We don't really know how he's going to grade out. Maybe they see things, but like I said, he's primarily a backup. The linebacker moves, I like. Like I said, I like Dodson and I like Baker, but letting Bobby go to me was just. And I know there has been things that have come out that said, hey, Bobby wanted to go to the Commanders because Quinn is there.
Mhm.
So the Seahawks didn't necessarily kick him out the door, but I also felt that they should have made a better effort to keep him. He's a tackling machine, 183 tackles last year, perfect mentor for younger players at the position. But the Seahawks are trying to keep their defensive core together, and but I think also bring in some new depth. So I would say the best signing that they did is probably the extension of the Leonard Williams extension. That was
Mhm.
a good signing. And I think I forgot to add that they brought in or they re-signed Daryl Taylor, but he has been, his tenure with the team, he's pretty much been able to generate some sacks, and that's about all he can do from my memory. But I don't hate that signing either. But like I said, they're not exactly getting all A's from me. I think it's mostly B minus, just because some of these seem like depth signings, and some of them are also players with other teams that haven't really gotten opportunities to start as much. But when they've started, they've done well. And they also signed, oh man, I'm forgetting one of their main signings, Rayshon Jenkins. They signed Rayshon Jenkins. I do like that signing. He was very good for Jacksonville last year, but I'm still sticking with B minus. Like I don't think
Interesting.
they've knocked it out of the park, but they haven't done a bad job either. And I'm trying to keep an open mind. This is new regime in a lot of ways, and I want to see what they can continue to do. As Staniel correctly pointed out on Saturday's show, John Schneider likes to sign depth, and he likes to try to find bargains. And I think this is a hallmark of the free agent period so far for the Seahawks.
Okay. So interestingly enough, I was watching Snowman this morning,
Mhm.
and well, watch / listening because I was at work. Uh, he actually gave your Seahawks an A.
Oh wow! All
He says
right.
he says he likes a lot of the signings that they made with the
Mhm.
Rayshon Jenkins one and the linebacker from the Bills. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
Tyron Dodson, I believe.
Cameron Dodson because he was
Yeah.
very highly graded, and
Yes.
he also liked the Sam Howell move, and
Okay.
he thinks this is a bold prediction on his part, but he's he's going to make bold predictions. He thinks Sam Howell starts week one.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
We're gonna
and
have to see.
especially if he has a really good training camp. So hey, let's see.
Okay.
It's a new regime. It's a
Yeah.
new era with Mike McDonald as your head coach, and he may want to roll the dice with a young guy. So
Yeah,
we'll
he
see.
could.
We'll
And
see.
I'll say this too. I'll say this, Snowman. You heard it here first. And if you're not watching, hopefully you catch the replay. But I'm sure you'll get wind of this somehow. I I don't necessarily disagree with you about the Sam Howell possibly starting week one, but just to make it entertaining, I will take the Geno Smith side of that bet. And if Sam Howell is the week one starter for the Seattle Seahawks, I will send you a bag of Invader coffee of your choosing, sir.
He'll want the Mexican chocolate because
All right, all right.
I sent him a bag of the Mexican chocolate, and he and Dr. K, his wife, are hooked. So
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
he likes the Mexican chocolate. All right. As for the Jets, talked about them last week. I said the primary moves they're making are on the offensive line. So they sign John Simpson from the Ravens. Great left guard. Uh, our friend Staniel says they should that the Jets should switch up him and Elijah Vera Tucker. Elijah Vera Tucker should be a left guard. John Simpson should play right guard. I disagree. We're going to be like that. We're going to disagree. They signed Javon Kinlaw. They signed, I can't remember his name from the 49ers. I'll have to look it up real quick. Isaiah, I want to say his last name is Carter, but I talked to Snowman about him. I asked about him, about Javon Kinlaw. He said that Javon Kinlaw can be a great run stopper if he stays healthy. If he stays Isaiah Oliver, that was his name. Okay, so they signed a corner. They lost Whitehead, but they bring in Oliver for some depth in the secondary. Javon Kinlaw has a 1-year deal. He goes back to they both go back to one of the coaches that who's with the 49ers. So Javon Kinlaw was a former number 1 pick. He just can't seem to stay healthy, but he had some depth in the interior. I know it's not it's a little bit of a salve for losing Bryce Huff, but again, this is how much the Jets believe in Jermaine Johnson and in Will McDonald. So on the offensive line, they continue on the offensive line. They trade a 4th round pick to Baltimore for, I believe it was a 6th round pick and Morgan Moses. So you get a guy starting he's going to play. He's projected to play right tackle. You bring in that offensive depth, and then you go out and sign Tyron Smith on Friday night. 1 year, $20 million. But here's the thing with his contract. They actually released details of his contract. It's incentive laden. Like he gets a base.
Okay.
And the thing is, and I was listening to the Jake Asman show. He was reacting to the next signing, which I'm going to get to in a moment. He was asked a question about this contract, and the details came out, and it's incentive laden because Tyron Smith has a history, especially over the last couple of years, where he's been on and off the field with injuries. He played 13 of 17 games this year, and he has that history of injuries in the past couple seasons. So he's going to have himself some incentive to stay healthy, play X amount of snaps. I guess he plays a certain amount of snaps, he gets a bonus. So he has on top of his base salary. So the incentives don't count against the cap. I'm learning more about salary cap math. Good for me.
Yeah.
And then they had to bring in a depth receiver. They had to bring in a veteran receiver. Got to get a guy who can go up and grab the ball. They missed that last year with Corey Davis, retiring, but now he's applying for reinstatement. I have a feeling that the Jets are going to cut him, but let's see if they bring him back. They bring in Mike Williams. I told that story about how the Jets fans lured him in with a Taylor ham, egg, and cheese sandwich. And actually, the new profile picture on Twitter, the New York Jets, is the sandwich itself and a big bite taken out of it. I will show that picture. I'll show that picture to you. There it is.
Oh yeah, no, he got after it.
Oh yeah, he got after it. And I saw one comment. It's like he only took one bite. I'm like, he probably finished it, but
yeah, probably.
It's the one bite. It's the one bite. It's the one bite right after the contract signing. So they bring in Mike Williams. If he can stay on the field, he gives Aaron Rodgers an extra target to throw to. You got him on one side. You got Garrett Wilson on the other side. I don't know who you get. I mean, this offense is going to be better. The offensive line has to stay healthy, though. Tyron Smith, again, injury history. John Simpson, I don't know how old he is, but we'll do some real-time research right now. I believe he's in his late 20s, but don't quote me on that. Let me double check. He's 26.
Okay.
So he's a young guy. He'll be there. He signed a 2-year deal. You bring in Morgan Moses, who's a veteran offensive lineman. He's had a pretty good season last year. Missed a couple weeks with injury. He's 33, but you bring him in for a season, and this just tells me how much Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh have said, all right, screw it. If we're going to go down, if this is our last season with the team, we're all in. We're all in. And I said in yesterday's Snowman program on Coughing with McCarthy, the clip is up on our YouTube channel. What I do is I live stream it to our channel. That's submitted to our channel. So it's available it's available, so you can watch it on replay. I said, if I had a word to describe the free agency market, the free agency period this year for the New York Jets, I would describe it as quiet, because they had big splashes in 2022.
Yeah.
Big splashes last year. I think this year their focus was just rebuilding the offensive line. They let go of Laken Tomlinson because he was kind of a bust. Brown was I forgot his first name already. Played for the Seahawks. I'm trying to remember his name.
Oh, let me see. Dwayne Brown.
Dwayne Brown. Yeah, he played for 2 weeks and he basically stole a bunch of money.
Well, he's older. That signing, when they did that, I said, if he can stay healthy, it'll be all right. But that's a big if, because he's getting up there.
Yeah. And I don't think they're going to they didn't exercise the 5th-year option of Mekhi Becton's contract. So I believe unless he signs like a 1-year prove it deal, he's not coming back to the Jets. And if he were to play, he would play on the right side. He would play right tackle. That was his best position last year until Dwayne Brown got hurt. Was pretty good up through the bye week. After the bye week, his game struggled. So I think he kind of knew the writing was on the wall. He wants to prove he could play tackle in this league. Great, good for him, but I don't think he's coming back to the Jets. And now, this afternoon, before we come on the air, Mike Williams from the Chargers signs a 1-year deal up to $15 million for the Jets. So that gives Aaron Rodgers not only a big target to throw to, but also somebody who can catch a deep ball every once in a while. You have Garrett Wilson, who's a speedster. Williams has speed, just needs to stay healthy. That's his big bugaboo, is that he can't play, hasn't played a full season yet, at least from every indication I know.
As far as I know, he has not. But that's when you text me the news, because I knew that this was his first meeting. He was supposed to meet with other teams. The Jets were out first, but the power of the Taylor ham was too much. But I said to you initially, he is a big body who can take the top off the defense a little bit and run downfield. And if the quarterback throws the ball down there, he's going to high point and go get it. But you correctly pointed out, injuries have been a huge problem for Mike Williams ever since he came into the NFL.
Yeah, he only played in 3 games total last year, and his last game was in late September. So he has had trouble staying on the field. He's played a full season once. That was in 2021. He started 14 games. He played in 16. So he has had an injury history, which is dubious. But if you get 1 year out of him, awesome. He'll do great things for this offense. Coming into today, I would have given the Jets free agency period a solid B.
Okay.
And a solid B in that they didn't have to make a splash this year in the free agency market. The primary focus was getting some veterans on that offensive line to protect Aaron Rodgers, because we all know what happened last year.
Yes.
Played 4 plays total, and that made one friend of the program, Cole Johnson, very upset. Very upset. He does not like Aaron Rodgers. Even though he like Aaron Rodgers, he quietly admitted to me that was tough. That was tough for me and Jets fans, period, to see. So
well, and even me, just if you like football in general, which we've had Cole on the show a couple times, passionate about football, passionate about all sports, but even me I didn't have any skin in the game, so to speak, but I was very excited for you, as a Jets fan, for our friend Scott, long Jets
Yep.
fan, just like
Oh
you
yeah,
like long Jets
I can
fan.
hear him right now. Oh yeah, I'm so excited.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I was excited to see what Aaron could do. I kind of wanted to, because I'm not the biggest fan of Aaron either, but you can't argue with his skill set. And
No.
I was excited to see what he could do, and to have that robbed, which I have to say, the biggest signing for me, for your Jets from an outside perspective, I would say that the Tyrod Taylor signing was big.
That's right, Tyrod. I forgot about Tyrod. I forgot about
because it shows that they learned. If Aaron
Mhm.
goes down, which hopefully that doesn't happen, but at least you have Tyrod. Yeah, Tyrod is going to
Let
keep the
me
ship
see a
afloat.
Super Bowl once in my life, God, please,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah, but I think Tyrod, he can at least keep the ship afloat a little bit, and get the ball to Mike Williams, get the ball to Garrett Wilson. He can, and also the Jets went out and well, they won't have Dalvin Cook in the backfield this year, but because that did not work out. So you
That's
have,
okay with me. He wasn't.
yes,
Wasn't.
you have, as you said, I think you aptly put it, and I will give the floor back to you. But this was kind of last year was all about appeasing Aaron. The moves that they made, that getting his longtime receiver in Green Bay. His name
Alan
is
Lazard.
Yes, Alan Lazard, one of his favorite targets from Green Bay, and then bringing in Randall Cobb. Pretty much, without Aaron saying, "I want Randall Cobb," the Jets don't have Randall Cobb last year. And so there was a few moves that it was obvious they were trying to appease Aaron, trying to get some people over there that he was familiar with. And this year, I think the Jets are more focused on, okay, what do we need as a team? What can we do? And going and getting Mike Williams, provided he can stay healthy, that's big. But Tyrod at least shows that they've learned from their mistakes. Robert Saleh is not going to sit out there and say, okay, Zach's the guy, and then bring in, like, no disrespect to the guys they brought in after that, but they could have gone out and tried to get Kirk Cousins. There was a lot of other intriguing options, I think.
No,
But they didn't do that.
I don't think A-Rod would have wanted that.
No.
I also forgot to mention they signed Lucky Fotu, interior defensive lineman for the defensive tackle last year with Arizona. But yeah, this is the first big splash, you could say, the first big name that the Jets have brought in, and I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, the floor is still yours. I was getting it back to you anyway.
And you know what's funny is that you mentioned the Victory Monday. My buddy Dan, who I haven't heard from in a while, he says he actually replied to the Twitter account. He said, "Thinking it's time for another podcast, buddy. We've got some things to talk about before the draft." So Victory Monday before the draft, coming soon. To no credentials required. But anyway, back to my final grade for at least right now, because this is only the first phase of free agency. Don't forget, post June 1st, when all those contracts are voided out. We talked about I think it was last week we talked about Daniel Jones, his contract with the Giants possibly being voided out. That $40 million cut from the Giants, he could be on his way out. But that's the second phase of free agencies after June 1st, because you got the initial free agency period, then you have the draft. After OTAs comes the first set of cuts before training camp starts in late July. And then you have your 3 preseason games, and you have your final cuts before the 53-man roster comes out. Anyway, my initial grade for free agency for the Jets, and I'm going to accuse me of being a homer. I don't really care. And this is especially now with Mike Williams being added onto the team, A-.
Okay.
A-, because they did Joe Douglas did his job in getting some offensive line help, particularly the veterans, particularly guys who can run, who are great run blockers, and John Simpson is an awesome run blocker. And I don't know who's happier right now, Aaron Rodgers or Breece Hall. I think Breece Hall is the happier of the two, to be honest with you, because you got veterans at the end, you got veterans at tackle, you got Elijah Tucker coming back, you got Joe Tippmann who's going to play his first full season at center. You got Carter Warren coming back, who's a developing tackle. He's a project tackle, but he's going to be, I think he's going to be a star lineman eventually someday for the Jets. And you bring in Tyron Smith. So you got guys who can run block. You got guys who can protect the quarterback. That's all I could. That's all I could. And you have some depth on defense. You have some depth on defense. You got a complimentary receiver for Garrett Wilson. Now you can go into the draft and you have options. You can trade back. You can try to trade up and make a splash. Maybe draft a quarterback for the future, or maybe draft an offensive tackle that you really, really like Joe Alt from Notre Dame, who is the top projected tackle, although I think he'll be gone by the time number 10 comes around. But you have those options. If he's gone, or if somebody who you had high on your board isn't there, if you have the option of trading back, getting yourself a second-round pick in return for trading for swapping first-round picks. If I'm Joe Douglas, I'm saying I've got plenty of options for draft day. Let's freaking go. Freaking go. If this is going to be my final season as GM, now that I have a playoff mandate, because Woody Johnson has says, yeah, if we don't make the playoffs this year in 2024, this is going to be a full blow up, and let's start over. New coach, new GM. I think Joe Douglas has said, all right, this is my last year, going down a blaze of glory. I'm going to see what we can do to help this team win a Super Bowl. So I give this free agency class so far A-.
All right. And so I do have to ask, because I have a Facebook friend who is a Jets fan, and he posted a picture of the Mike Williams signing, and all he put was Super Bowl, here we come. Do you think that Mike Williams, I think that's a little overkill. I think it's a big upgrade for the Jets, and it helps with certain things. But I want to get are you over the moon after the Mike Williams signing? My thought is probably not, because you're a pretty measured fan.
Yeah, but, I'm realistic. I'm optimistic with a dash of cynical, because I know how the Jets are. Mm-hmm. I know how this team is. But I say, coming into today, I thought, all right, wild card team.
Okay. Yep.
But after this signing, I'm thinking I could win the division. And what's interesting is that the last home playoff game was in 2003. It is now legally old enough to drink.
Yes, man. If I remember, I'm thinking of the different Jets versus Chargers, and Nate Kading was the Chargers kicker. That was not the 2003. That was in San Diego, wasn't it? That was like 2010. I'm trying to remember, because the Sanchez was on the team then.
Yep, that was 2010, because they beat San Diego to in the wild card. Mm-hmm. Then they beat New England, and they lost in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
But the 2003 was a 41-0 blasting of the Colts. And Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning had the face that he makes when he does something, when something bad happens.
Yes.
All right. We are going to take our commercial break. Actually, I'm sorry. Let me close out with saying this has been your Loch Ness Monster free agency tracker.
I need about 350.
All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll go to your comments, and then we'll roll into baseball and my steel cage challenge to Jay Billis for his bracket. Stay tuned for more No Credentials Required.
Righteous Felon Craft Jerky is the official jerky of Belly Up Sports. For over a decade, Righteous Felon Craft Jerky has led the American meat snack revolution by concocting delicious, adventurous, U.S.-sourced jerky recipes for uncompromising carnivores across the country. With 15 different flavors to choose from, Righteous Felon has all jerky lovers covered, and by using promo code BELLYUP, you will get 15% off your purchase at RighteousFelon.com. Do your taste buds a favor today and rip into a bag of Righteous Felon jerky.
And no, that handsome voice was not me this time. That was friend of the show, Brent Redlinsky. We hope to have him on for some Yankees content throughout the regular season because baseball's coming up. But in the meantime, Righteous Felon Craft Jerky. I ordered some. It came from the mail yesterday. I ordered some. I just want to try it out, and this stuff is legit. All right, 2-ounce package, 20 ounces of protein, less than 200 calories for an entire package. Low in sugar. I mean, if you're somebody who's health conscious like me, I'm trying to drop a few lbs. I know, Dustin, you're trying to drop a few lbs as well.
Yeah.
This is a high protein, low sugar. That's what's important. Watch those carbs. Low sugar snack. I tried the OG hickory. I tried yesterday. Yesterday I tried the OG hickory. Today I went with the Soul Survivor, which is a Korean barbecue inspired blend. A little bit of heat to it. Delicious. Absolutely delicious. But not only do they have jerky, they have beef sticks. They have like actual Slim Jim style sticks, and they have this dry, like a South African dried jerky called biltong, which is I'll have to try that out too. But they've also got some gear. They got shirts, t-shirts, hats, tumblers. Try it all. Get 15% off your order with promo code BELLYUP at checkout. Save a little money. Try some jerky. 3 packs worth. You can also subscribe. You can get yourself a big old sample pack of the jerky. Get yourself a subscription to the jerky. Every month, every couple weeks, get yourself a new brand. If you want to try it and true, like stick with some brands that you stick with some flavors that you'll like, or maybe you want to try something new. Again, you have your options. Go to righteousfelon.com. Use promo code BELLYUP at checkout. And again, 15% off your order with that promo code. All right, let's go to the comments section. And we're going to talk about, we're just going to visit real quick. Rich says, Cred heads. Yes, Cred heads are here. The Cred heads are here, and they're legit. Snowman saying, sports ball, ref ball. Playmaker adding, not the list. Thanks, Jericho. Playmaker chiming in about the Jets free agency says, I'm intrigued about the signing, the Mike Williams signing. Mike Williams and with Garrett Wilson and A-Rod healthy, plus working on that O-line. Jets are doing the right things right now. Yeah, I mean, the Rams are doing some impressive things too, Playmaker. So I'm impressed with some of the moves that your Rams have done, getting younger. Of course,
about the Jimmy G signing.
Oh, I can't. I want to hear what he says about the Jimmy G signing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's impressed with what the Jets are doing right now. So hopefully that defense doesn't have to do too much of the heavy lifting next season. Rich Carroll saying Pete Carroll. Boo. He does not like Pete Carroll from the USC days.
Yes, from the USC. So. He did strategically leave at just the right time, didn't he? But I still have to say, for what Pete Carroll did for the city of Seattle and my team, I'm a big Pete Carroll fan for a long time now.
Cold Iron ticking in saying, holding out on an A for the Seahawks? You're a tough grader.
Yeah, I can be. And that's why sometimes I have to measure it, upon further reflection, I'd probably make it more of a B plus rather than a B minus. But I do tend to skew, sometimes I look at things and my gut reaction is what comes out. And that's what you got there.
Yep. Dr. Lady saying, mixing sports metaphors, Dustin? Shame.
Oh, I'm sorry. The doctor is in, and my prescription is bad.
Sorry, Dr. Lady Esquire. She's also a lawyer. She also says sports law is fascinating. Yeah, sports law is very fascinating. I mean, unions having to deal with unions and collective bargaining and salary cap. Not applicable to baseball. I know Dr. Lady's a big baseball fan.
Mm-hmm.
So all that stuff. It's just very math. Welcome to Saint Chicken In. Says, hi y'all, long work day. You guys mind starting over from the start?
Just for you, Wonko. We got it. Run it back.
All right, fine. All right, fine. Start over. Then before we go to our next topic, Dr. Lady saying eating a whole bag of beef jerky is health conscious to me too. Hey, tomorrow's flavor is the Maryland Monroe, which is beef jerky with Chesapeake crab spice, like a little bit of Old Bay in there.
All right. 200 calories a bag. I'll rip through that because you could have 2 Oreos is 120 calories. How do I know that? Because I'm a fan of Oreos, but more bang for your buck. I'll take the 200 calories and eat the jerky, the whole bag.
Yeah.
Instead of just 2 lowly cookies.
Yeah, this 2-ounce bag of the Maryland Monroe is only 140 calories for the container.
Oh man!
And it's got 22 ounces of protein. So
there we go.
Along with a nice protein-filled snack. So tomorrow, the Maryland Monroe. I'm gonna order some more next week after my next paycheck. So it's gonna be awesome. That's good stuff. It's good stuff. Belly up, 50% off your checkout. righteousfelon.com. All right, next topic, we're going to go briefly into this. We talked about him the last couple of shows, but Blake Snell, left-handed, and I was today years old when I found this out. The undisputed reigning defending National League Cy Young Award winner, Blake Snell, signs with the G-Men. That is the San Francisco G-Men. And Dustin, I know we talked about our Yankees with the uncertainty of Garrett Cole being out of the lineup for the next probably month or so. He shut down for the next month with nerve inflammation in his throwing arm. I wouldn't say the Yankees are in panic mode, but they're doing their due diligence to find who they can have that's left over in the free agency market to fill in as I guess you could say a stopgap with Garrett Cole being out of the lineup. So I want to get your reaction to this signing. What's your thought process about Blake Snell signing with San Francisco?
I think this signing makes sense. And candidly, as a Yankee fan, I am happy that Blake Snell is not the answer for the New York Yankees. He is a mercurial pitcher, and the fact that he's very talented, it is obvious that he is talented. As you pointed out correctly, he is the reigning Cy Young Award winner for the National League. But the reason why that skates by some people is that Blake Snell is incredibly streaky. When I heard that the Yankees were possibly looking at bringing him in, I made the joke to you. I said, you're going to need Tums or Rolaids or something, because I had him on my fantasy team last year, and he was the epitome of Jekyll and Hyde. When he is on, he is on, and he can go on these streaks where he'll win like 7 starts in a row, and his ERA will be under 1 practically. Then you get the other side of Blake Snell, where he goes like 1-6 and his ERA is like 4, and you just never know what you're going to get with Blake Snell. So I am very happy that the Yankees kind of avoided this. He gives up too many fly balls for my liking, and in Yankee Stadium that would have been a horrible mix. However, I think this signing makes sense for the San Francisco Giants. They have a track record. Their coaching staff has a track record over the last few years of kind of bringing in pitchers that either A, already have talent, but maybe had a bumpy road somewhere else, and they kind of steady them out. There is something about they bring a steadying hand to the pitchers, and the pitchers tend to do very well on the Giants. Look at Kevin Gausman. He kind of had a rocky start. The Giants brought him in. He pitched very well for them and parlayed it into that big contract for the Blue Jays a couple of years ago. So, I think this signing makes sense. I think it could work out, but I'm happy that Blake Snell is not a New York Yankee.
I think you said it best. Yeah, I was kind of on the fence with Blake Snell. He's got some good stuff, but I think I would prefer to have the Blake Snell that was in Tampa Bay,
Yes,
rather than the Blake Snell that was in San Diego. And yes, he is streaky. You have one good start, and then 2 bad starts right after. Now, I was kind of weighing this in my mind a little bit, and then I corrected myself in my own brain, doing some research. I thought to myself, all right, the Yankees are scheduled to play an exhibition game against a Mexican baseball team. I believe it's either this weekend or the following weekend, before the regular season starts. On that Mexican team is one Trevor Bauer.
Oh boy.
He says I don't know if this is true or not, but he says he's going to start for this Mexican team. And I had this argument in my brain about whether it'd be worth it to sign one Trevor Bauer. And thinking about all the fact that he and Garrett Cole have a history, and it's not positive.
Yeah, it's not a good one.
With the allegation of him doing, I guess you would say, really bad things to women.
Yes.
Though it was found out that it was consensual, but still, that's a bit of an image problem. And the fact that that the New York media is already a media circus, they would have a field day covering him.
Oh yeah.
The juice is not worth the squeeze. As talented as of a pitcher as he is, I don't think the attitude problems and the fact that he does a vlog, like when he went back to Japan, he did a vlog. He still has that vlog up on I believe it's YouTube. It's a YouTube channel that chronicles his journey in Japan last season. For as talented as he is, I don't think the reputation is worth the risk for the New York Yankees, especially with how Hal Steinbrenner is very particular about who he signs or who he brings in.
Yes, his father, Hal, is not. And also, I would say, too, that with Trevor Bauer, now, correct me if I'm wrong, because it's been a while since I've seen him pitch, but I think Trevor Bauer has a very specific type of delivery or a very, very specific type of motion that if it's not 100% right, it can kind of go sideways on him, because he also had stretches where he dominated, but then he was really struggling. And I think it's partially by his own admission. There's a certain thing about his release that he does very specifically. And if he's not rolling right and he doesn't do this thing, he can get hit a little bit, but I could be confusing him with another pitcher. I know Lincecum was another one that had a very unique delivery, and he was saying that if he doesn't get it completely right, that caused problems. So I could be conflating those two things together. We all know I have a tendency to do that sometimes, but I believe Trevor Bauer was kind of the same way. Had to throw things a very specific way because Trevor Bauer is into like release points and launch angles, and I think he has a passing interest in physics and stuff. So I think he incorporates that into a lot of the way he pitches. But I could be thinking of somebody else, and I hope I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm the Yankees right now, I mean, I tweeted this last week. I said, and Garrett Cole was visiting Dr. Neil El-Atrash, who was Aaron Rodgers' surgeon when he had his Achilles surgery, and I thought it would if he's having Tommy John, doesn't really bode well right now. It's just a nerve inflammation. But and I said that either the Yankees would need to go shopping or hope Will Warren, who was their top pitching prospect, would have to develop faster. So I don't know if you can count on a rotation of Nestor Cortez, Clark Schmidt, Carlos Rodon. Good Lord. And I'm trying to think of who their other right-handed pitcher is. Luke, I think it's Luke Weaver.
Oh,
their other right-handed pitcher.
I'm gonna have to do some RTR.
Yeah. So, but Will Warren is their best, is their number one pitching prospect. So you would have to hope if you want a 6-man rotation. And I said this yesterday on Snowman. I said the Yankees going to have, if Garrett Cole is out for an extended period of time, they're going to have to win every game. They're going to score at least 6 runs every single game. Because while I trust their bullpen, I don't trust their starting rotation, especially with what they have right now with Garrett Cole being out and not throwing for a month.
Okay, so the other right-hander you were trying to think of is the also streaky Marcus Stroman.
Marcus Stroman. Yeah. And again, I would rather have 2017 Marcus Stroman than 2024 Marcus Stroman.
Yeah. That is for sure.
But yeah, I mean, good for Blake Snell. 1 year, was it one? I think it was 2 years, $62 million, opt out after 1 year. I mean, the Giants were contenders last year for the last wild card, and Arizona snuck in. The Giants have a pretty, outside of Blake Snell, I couldn't name one player in that Giants roster. They could have had Aaron Judge. They were the only team that competed with the Yankees to try to sign Aaron Judge in that offseason when he was a free agent. But he stayed in New York. And like I said last week, I think if Garrett Cole's out for an extended period of time, and if Aaron Judge is going to be out this year at any time for an extended period of time, it's another 4th place finish. I mean, with the way that the Red Sox are trying to make noise, the Yankees could finish last in the AL East, but we'll see. I mean, it's 162 games. It's a long season. I mean, we haven't even reached opening weekend yet, which is actually next Thursday.
Yeah.
And Yankee fan like ourselves are already kind of like, this might not be pretty. And now they said and they also said DJ LeMahieu was going to be out for an extended period of time too. He's got some foot problems, so so he'll be out. But I think it was scheduled to either play DH or third this year. So, or was it first? I think it was first. But
let's check here. Let's check. DJ, blah 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 blah. Well, we've got video of him taking batting practice. That's very nice. But looking for the starting lineup. I got the bullpen. Come on, show the. Okay, LeMahieu was supposed to be the regular third baseman with Rizzo back at first.
Right, that's right. I forgot about Anthony Rizzo. I know. Thankfully, hopefully his concussion problems from last year have resolved. But like I said, best of luck to Blake Snell. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how he does in that pitching in that division with the Dodgers, the Diamondbacks, the Padres. Even though they traded Juan Soto, they still have some bats with guys like Manny Machado in the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to in Colorado, whatever. But we'll take one more trip to the comment section before we get into our last topic of the evening. Sick Diggy, friend of the show, asking, what in all types of blue hell did I just walk into? Well, you found out. He's asking, he asks you, what are your thoughts on cookie dough ice cream?
Oh, man. Cookie dough ice cream, top tier ice cream, delicious. Although the brand does matter. Around here, I'm a big fan of Stewart Shop's cookie dough ice cream, which is a hyper regional to the New York area, the upstate New York area specifically. It's an institution around where Ryan and I are from. They got the best cookie dough ice cream. I'll give honorable shouts out to Perry's. Oh, man, we can go down the rabbit hole. But cookie dough ice cream overall, very good. But the brand does matter to me.
One thing we got to do this summer is tour the ice cream places around the area.
All right.
Country driving in Clifton Park.
Okay.
Martha's up in Lake George.
Yep.
Right by Six Flags. I think there's the snow. There's a bunch of places we could check out.
Oh yeah, Snowman in Troy. There's a
yep.
place in Greenwich. I think it's just called Ice Cream Man's. Real good. Yeah, we'll get after it. And you know what? Here we go. Live production meeting on the air. No freezer required. We're doing it. We'll get a couple people. You know, I have a feeling there's people in my life, there's people in your life that would love to join us on this ice cream tour. Let's do it.
Oh, yeah.
No freezer required. We'll get a panel together.
Well, since we talked beef jerky and we talked ice cream, no bovines required. There you go.
There we go.
Sickty also asked, will we ever hear Ryan say the reigning, defending, like one Paul Heyman? You forgot, undisputed. Reigning, defending, undisputed, Cy Young Award winner, Blake Snell. Yeah. Speaking of Blake Snell, Dr. Lady Esquire says he's unreliable.
Yes. Thank you for putting it so succinctly.
And she also says Snell is no Otani or Yamamoto. Giants still in trouble in the division. I mean, like I said, they were a scrappy bunch last year. Missed out on a wild card spot. They were up until the end when Arizona, like I said, when Arizona snuck in.
But correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Lady, but Otani is not pitching this year, correct? He's only hitting because I think yeah. So because he had
the old Tommy John the second time around.
Yes. But even Otani as a hitter, still amazing. So
Sick checking in saying, thinking the word you're looking for, gentlemen, is temperamental regarding Blake Snell. He also says it could have been worse. Picture Mitch Wild Thing Williams in this era of the Major League Baseball. Talk about unpredictable. Oof, look out. Look out. And we have an ad from One Sick Diggy. Excuse me. This edition of No Credentials Required is brought to you by Rugged Man Beard Care, the only beard care for a manly beard. Rugged Man Beard, rugged beards equals ruggedly handsome. And Chicken Wing Head Shavers. Ditch the man unit and embrace the bald head. Dr. Lady adds, use promo code Ryan Mack for 10% off. She also says, correct, Otani's not pitching until 2025.
Okay.
She should know. She should know she's a Dodgers fan.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. Our last segment of the evening, I'm going to keep it quick. Jay Billis's bracket sucks. Mine is better.
There we go.
Now, I was at the gym last night getting my workout on because, like you, Dustin, trying to lose some lbs, trying to get my Jason Kelsey inspired bod on. So Jay Billis was doing his bracketology, and I tried to find out what all of his 68 winners, or however many winners there are, 36 winners are. But unfortunately, I couldn't find them all. If I wanted to find out who they were, I would have to go behind the paywall on ESP on the 4-letter network. Plus.
Oh yeah,
whatever. But I found an article that gave us his Elite 8, and he has in the Midwest, Purdue and Tennessee; in the West, Arizona, North Carolina. In the South, Houston and Kentucky; in the East, UConn and Illinois. The commonality between all four of these picks, and he picks Purdue, Arizona, Houston, and UConn to go to the Final Four. The commonality for all these teams, they're either number 1 or number 2 seeds.
He went pretty chalk.
Boring.
Yeah.
Boring. So I'm just going to give you my what I'm going to do is give you my bracket. I'm not going to go through the entire bracket. I'm going to give you my Sweet 16 picks. My Sweet 16. In the East, I've got UConn, Auburn, BYU, and Iowa State. And again, this is somebody who had not paid attention all year to college basketball. I'm just going by gut feeling. I'm going entirely by gut feeling. I'm also going by the fact that you cannot trust the Big Ten in college basketball. And I have BYU beating Illinois in the second round. So, and because again, your BYU is basically men because they're on mission for 2 years with the Church of Latter-day Saints. So you got basically men playing against young boys. All right. So in the West, I have UNC, Alabama. Well, I was just say Bama, Baylor, and Arizona. And again, I went 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can't say too much about boring, but that's just how I have it. In the South, I've got Houston, Duke, Kentucky, and Marquette. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. But I have some upsets in there, so bear with me. I'll get to my upsets, first round upsets in just a minute. And in the Midwest, which is going to be the wildest bracket I think of all, Utah State, McNeese State, Creighton, and Tennessee as your Sweet 16.
Gotta love those Creighton Blue Jays.
That's gotta love Big East, man. The Beast, the Big East. Long live the Big East. That's why I had Marquette in the Sweet 16 as well. So another Big East team. My Elite 8 is UConn, Iowa State, Bama, and Arizona. Houston and Marquette, Utah State, and Creighton. I think Utah State could be one of those mid-major. Utah State isn't really. I wouldn't count. You could argue that the Mountain West is their group of five. Their group of five conference. So you could argue they're mid-major, but I think Utah State could go all the way to the Elite 8 because I had them beating Purdue in the round of 32. Because again, you cannot depend on the Big Ten in basketball at all for these brackets. So here's my final four: UConn, Arizona, Houston, and Creighton.
Oh man! All right, gotta love those Creighton Blue Jays. But I was partially hoping that you were going to say Alabama, just so that I could say I got too much Bama in me.
Roll damn Tide. And my national championship game is UConn and Houston, and I got Houston winning the national championship. I think I predicted Houston to win the national championship last year too. Unfortunately, they did not go to they did not go to the Final Four. UConn is the reigning. I'm sorry, UConn is the reigning, defending, undisputed champion of college basketball in 2023. But in 2024, they're going to go to the national championship game. But I have Houston beating them. I think Houston is just. I went to another gym story last Saturday at the gym right before conference tournament play started. They absolutely smacked the taste out of Kansas's mouth. And by the way, I have Kansas. I believe I have Kansas losing in the first round. Yeah. So let me give you my upsets. So I've got in the. I don't have many upsets in the East. I don't think I have any upsets in the East. I have no double digit seeds going to the next round. However, in the West, I have Grand Canyon University, the Fighting Antelopes, beating St. Mary's, a 12 being a 5.
That always happens.
I've got Nevada being Dayton, the 10 being a 7. In the South, I've got James Madison, a 12, beating Wisconsin, because again, you cannot depend on a Big Ten team to go far in the round of 64. I do want to give a shout out to my buddy James Prush, who's my former pastor at my church, one of my churches I used to go to. He's a big Nebraska fan. I have them beating Texas A&M in the round of 64.
Okay.
But I also have, let's see, who's my other 10? I've got whoever makes it out of the round, the play-in round. I've got them beating Florida. That's a 10 being a 7. Sorry, Playmaker. I've got McNeese beating Gonzaga. That's another 12 being a 5. Ooh. And I've got Samford beating Kansas, a 13 beating a 4.
Wow. Okay. All right. So
Yeah.
you got, I have to ask. Yeah, they happen every year. It's part of the beauty of this tournament. But I have to ask, how much of these upsets, you said you were going completely off of gut feeling, but did you also factor in the scoring system in this bracket? Do you get extra points for the upset?
No, you don't.
Oh, okay. See, when I used to run the bracket, I used to do what was called like the Fibonacci scoring system or something like that. Whereas if a like a 10 beat a 7, you got a point for getting the win right, depending on the round, because I also had increasing points for each round. But you got a point for the, say it happened in the first round, you got a point. You also got added onto your total the difference between the seeds of the upset. So if a 10 beat a 7, you'd get 3 additional points. So I was wondering, because I always factored that in. I'd try to get a little mathy with it.
It's just straight up wins.
Gotcha.
It's just straight up wins.
All right.
So, but yeah, I'll just say this is my last thought about Jay Billis's bracket. It's boring. It's boring. I know he's the guy who is a supposed expert at that 4-letter network. He's been there for years. Blah 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 blah. And I'm sorry, if you have 3 1 seeds as your final four in your final 4, it's boring. It's boring. It's old hat. I don't care. I know college basketball is your thing, but man, you gotta have some excitement in there with some upset, with some unexpected teams like a Creighton. I just, from what I understand, again, I'm just going by. I will say this: I did do a little research on which teams could possibly upset and go to the round of 32. A lot of analysts were high on Grand Canyon. They were high on McNeese. They were high on Samford. They were high on James Madison. So I figured, all right, let's roll with them, because weird things happened last year in last year's March Madness. Sorry, March Mania. Copyright. Nobody expected Florida Atlantic to get to the national championship.
Yeah, that was not expected at all.
No. So, yeah, Jay Billis, boring. My bracket, exciting.
All right, well, here we go. Maybe we can do the battle of the brackets, you versus Billis. And if he
I just gotta find out what his other picks are. I may have to go behind the paywall to ESP, to that 4-letter network, and find out who he picked besides his Final 4 pick or his Elite 8. Because I don't trust Purdue. I think they're gonna be the first. They'll be the first 1 seed to fall. They won't make it out of the round in 32.
Okay. A prediction from Rystradamus.
Hold on. Let me get the sound. And go.
There we go. It's been a while since we heard that thunder.
It's true. And I just want Jay Billis's bracket to be busted, because I just want to hear him say this all the way from Bristol.
Uh-oh. I didn't hear anything, so I hope it's a problem on my end here.
Yeah, it might be a bit of an issue on your end, because your video is frozen right now. So I see resting Dustin face right now.
Yeah, that's not a good look. I see it too. But I also don't want to refresh, because I don't want to not be able to come back.
That's all right. Well, I mean, we're near the end of the show anyway, so we might as well wrap it up. So thank you again, folks. Oh, wait, one more thing. Wonko asked, Discord brackets? Not sure if I know how to use that place yet. Well, Wonko, in the comments, in the description, you'll see the link to our Discord channel. So go ahead and hit that link, download the app either on your phone or download it on your PC. It's really easy to use. It's like a chat room. It's like a chat room. So I think what I'll do, I think we might have to do a bracket. We might have to do a bracket for free with no credentials required. We'll do a no credentials required bracket. So if you're in the audience, if you're on Discord, join us. No trolls, or else I will get my bandhammer pants on, and you will be out of there, baby, out of there. So we have to do a bracket for no credentials required. Maybe we'll do some prizes like some bitter coffee or some righteous. We'll do a price package. Maybe we'll do that. We'll figure it out. I'll talk to Dustin for a production. I'll talk to Dustin after the program ends. He disappeared. So, but I figure it might as well be a perfect time to end things. Just want to remind you about our social media channels right here. Oh, he's back. He's back.
Sorry about that, everybody. I don't know what happened. So I did.
That's all right. That's all right. Well, Wonko grabbed a great comment. He asked Discord brackets. This is not sure how to use that place yet. So we you know what? I was thinking we might have a production meeting on the air.
Yeah.
Why don't we do a bracket for no credentials required? We'll give our whoever wins a nice gift package, like with some Vader coffee and some beef jerky.
Yeah,
we'll do something like that.
Yeah, I'd be down. I'd be down for that.
All right. So we're gonna end things here. Thank you for tuning in, whether it be on the podcast side, YouTube side, Facebook, on replay, wherever you found us. Thank you for joining us. We really do appreciate it. And I'm looking at the stats right now. We've got 96 people viewing in on Twitter right now. So thanks for everyone who's on Twitter joining us. We really appreciate it. But we appreciate you more if you'll give us a follow on our social media channels, which are right down here below, on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at NoCredsREQ, Facebook.com/NoCredsREQ, YouTube.com/ at NoCredsREQ. And as always, please give us a like, comment, share, and subscribe to all of our social media channels down below. On the podcast side, subscribe to the podcast on your preferred podcast platform. That includes Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, wherever you podcast. Rate and review. A 5-star rating would be really, really helpful. And also, if you would review our humble podcast, we might even read the review on the air. So thank you for tuning in to No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We're presented by Belly Up Sports in association with Gozilla Media. For Dustin Henry, I'm Ryan McCarthy. We'll talk to you again next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Until then, have a great day. Have a great night.
Good night, everybody.